Ego, ego, ego. So basically what I've learned, it's all about ego. And you're not speaking with other people. You're fighting all the time with their ego, ego, ego. Okay, at least you know in which game you are. I'm the greatest. Then the big no-no, the X, the biggest X you shouldn't do ever, ever, ever is to say to other people that they are wrong. People just simply cannot stand this. No one stands it. I don't stand it. So you shouldn't do it like that. It's a form of criticism, but this is a specific thing. When you know that someone's wrong, someone says, oh, the sky is green, you don't go and say, no, you're wrong. It's a ego killer, like you put up a gun and you killed him and his ego. That's not the way how will you make friends. As I said, there are methods what you can do in order to navigate the conversation so that people understand that they are wrong, but you are not directly saying it. Okay? And people love to get compliments. If you're giving compliments to other people, you should be honest. You should be honest. So pick up the things. Maybe you cannot be honest with everything, so pick up the good things from that person, what you really enjoy and like, and you want to somehow praise. Then give them this compliment and give them honestly, like a normal human being. Okay? Then, if you want to get something from someone, and I already spoken about this, the only way to get it is, okay, you can take it by brute force, but you want to get it from that person, you want to put that person in a situation that that person wants to give you that something. So like if you're trying to sell, then the other people will, he wants to give you his or her money. Let's say this is an example. You cannot push people to buy something. You cannot push people to give you something that you want and go right into their face and say, give me this, give me that, I want this, I want that. So once more, no one cares what you want, what you need. No one cares. People only care about themselves and what they need. So if you know this magic and you understand this, that other persons, they only want what they want, only thinking about themselves. So if you want something from someone, you should put and plant an idea in their head indirectly so that they don't realize. So they come up with the idea of buying the things from you by themselves. At least they think that's their idea, and they came up with first with this, and it's completely theirs idea, and you don't have anything to do with this. At least they don't understand it. In that case, there is a very high probability that they will, at the end, buy something from you or give you the thing that you want. We can talk more about in another episode, but you get the point. So you cannot ask someone, give me this, give me that, I want that. You should put an idea in his head or her head while they are not aware of it. And then they, through the conversation and questions, they should come up with the idea that they should give something to you, this or that. Okay? Then, what I have learned also is shut the fuck up. I cannot tell it more, let's say, nicely than this. Your mouth is your biggest weapon, and your mouth is something that it could kill you also. So it's very, very how they say, it's very powerful, but it goes both ways. So it can damage other people, but it can also damage you. When you say something, you should really think about what you say, when you say it, to whom, and how much do you say. And people who have very much who are on a, let's say, on a powerful, very powerful positions, regardless where they are, but very powerful people, they tend to speak very, very, let's say, very little. So they somehow speak last, hear everybody else before they come up with some kind of conclusion. So basically, you should learn, and I have learned to speak less, and less. Don't speak to everybody, speaking about everything, about your private things, about other people's private things. It will not end up well. It will not end up well. So shut the fuck up and never give other people this feeling that you are deliberately silent. So be very, very careful with this, because no one likes the guy who doesn't speak at all, and they understand that he is self-regulating himself not to speak. People do not like that if they know that. So that's why you have to speak, but you have to think very carefully when, where, how much, and so on. And my general suggestion for me also is generally speak less. Then, if you want to make friends, is to let other people speak first. Always give them this opportunity to speak first. You can go and ask them other questions about them, about their ego, and feed their ego, but don't start the conversation about me, I was there, I was here, I was the best, I was blah, 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 blah. No. Always give other people the opportunity to speak first. And try to have a smile as much as possible while you are, and it should be a sincere smile if you can act a sincere smile, or you are a person who can give and who can deliver a sincere smile, because people generally love to speak with positive people who are smiling, who are bright, who are very cheerful, and so on. They don't like grumpy old guys. They don't like people who frown a lot. So that's one thing. It's not maybe the easiest thing. It's not maybe always possible. Maybe it's not always possible because you have your own problems. Maybe the day is not good. Maybe there's something going around with your life, in your private life. And it's tough, but you have to learn to a certain degree. Then, when you're talking to other people, try to mention their name as often as possible. People they enjoy hearing their names, especially in a big group. When you're saying, oh, John was saying that, John had a good idea. When you say he had a good idea, that's not as powerful as John had a good idea. And if John is in this group and other people heard that you are praising out loud John's opinion and John's idea, basically you're feeding his ego, and John is feeling like he's in nirvana or something like that. Then, as I said before, avoid any kind of arguments, saying, okay, you're not wrong, you're wrong, I'm right, discussion, everything that goes into this negativity, and people are irritated by that. You're attacking their ego. You will never ever sell anything to someone if you're arguing with them, and you'll never make friends if you are constantly arguing with those people. So don't argue, don't complain, don't tell them that they are wrong. You can just be a good friend, and you can navigate, as I said, a conversation through different kinds of questions. learn. There is another book that I have read about how you can ask those questions and what question you should ask, so that they come to a conclusion that you want them to have. Maybe it's manipulation, maybe it's not, but I'm telling you how it is. When you are wrong, that's it, when I am wrong, you should always tell it. You should always come clean and say, okay, I was wrong, I am wrong, and because it's another food for ego for other people. When you are deliberately putting yourself down and you are, let's say, diminishing your value by that, you're saying you're wrong, you're just simply lifting up the ego of other persons, and it's the same thing like you're praising them. So it's a scale. Either you can praise someone or you can put yourself down, so the fact is the same. So that's why. So if you have done something wrong and you are afraid that that other person will, I don't know, resent you, will put it in your nose and so on, and he's preparing, I don't know, a day before to rub it in your nose how you were wrong, the thing that you can do while you're coming into a conversation with that person is to come clean at the beginning. At the beginning you say, I'm wrong, I did this, it was completely wrong, it was completely out of line, and so on. That's when you, let's say, somehow erase all the negative energy from the beginning of your conversation, and then you're not giving the possibility to other people, to that other person, to attack you, to I don't know, to throw bullets at you. You're simply admitting. You're admitting that you are wrong, he was right, or something like that, and then you're erasing this negative energy, and the conversation will very rapidly turn around in a positive manner. If you don't do it, if you hide it in yourself and think that other person will not, maybe he will skip this, he will not rub it in your nose, he will not go through the bad things that you have done, and then you have all the time this anxiety, this black cloud is above you, and this conversation is very anxious. It's not a very good environment for both of you. Just move it aside from the beginning of your conversation, come clean, say it was like this, and this, I was wrong, let's go. Come on, let's do something good, let's move forward. And then basically, most of the people, they are not expecting you to come clean, and that's where you disarm them, and they don't know. They were cleaning their rifles all night long to attack you, and now you disarm them in the first second. So what can they do? The only thing that they can do is to move forward and talk about something positive. That's a very, very good advice that you can take. If you both have done something wrong, always first tell about yourself how you were wrong. Then maybe you will open this environment and discussion for other people, for other person to come clean as well. It's easier to say I'm wrong when another person tells it first, because they have exposed their vulnerability and you have seen that it is okay, everybody, I don't know, forgave them, everybody is cool with that. Now also I can come up clean. So you always have to have this friendly intentions with other people, and always try to have a conversation in this positive tone. I believe maybe you have heard that you should have as much as yes and positive answers from another person when you're talking to them. Why is it? Because it puts them in a good emotional state, in a happy emotional state. If you are provoking them with questions and so on, where they have to answer the yes. So I can see your haircut is good. Was this your idea to cut it like that? Yes. So you're boosting their ego, and you're putting them, him or her, in a good emotional state. That's why you have to provoke as much as these yes questions deliberately, as much as possible. Also, you can use, sometimes you can use a no question at the beginning of the conversation. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. Why? Because if you deliberately put an environment, situation, where the other person will respond, you know it's 100% sure, you're sure that he or she will respond with a no, that's a good way to start, because if you answer with no, then you gain power, then you're stating your lines, your borders, and so on. It feels like you have a control. It's a false perception of control, but at least you think that you have a control. And people who are egocentric and so on, most of the people, they love to have control. And when they say no, they're imposing these borders and saying, I'm in control. That's why sometimes it's good to have an opening question that will end with a no. Sometimes. Okay, so I already said you shouldn't be the prime in the discussion. You should be compassionate toward others and their wishes. Also, what you can do, you can sometimes trigger a little competitions if you want to get something from someone, because I believe you have seen this many times in your life when someone said, I bet that you cannot do this, or I bet you cannot do that. It's a little, I would say, you're picking, I would say, on someone's ego. You're not attacking it. You're picking on someone's ego, like, oh, I cannot do, you will see. I cannot eat 5 hot dogs in 1 minute. Oh, you will see now. Give me. Come on, guys, give me 5 hot dogs. I will show you. And then when you eat 5 hot dogs, it's basically a big ego boost to show, I told you, you're not listening to me. I can do it. I'm the greatest. So you can trigger these little competitions in people. People like that. Not to attack the ego, but to have a little poke on the ego. It's just to provoke them, to put them in a situation when they will boost their ego even more. Then if you have one bad thing and one good thing, in most of the cases you should start with a good thing, because it will set up a tone in the conversation. It will be easier to hear the bad thing. Maybe it's not always the case, but let's say in most of the situations, maybe that is the good idea, to go with a good thing and a good news first. Also, what I've learned from this book is, don't tell other people what to do. Their ego is telling them what to do. They know the best what they have to do. They're the smartest, I'm the smartest, so don't tell us what we need to do. Okay? It's a hit on the ego. Also, this is one very, very tricky advice that I have learned is, if you have the opportunity to save someone's reputation, you should do it. You should always do it, because it's basically putting a joker card up your sleeve, maybe for a later use, because we as a people, we love ourselves the most, and then we love to stomp on other people's ego, maybe to, I don't know, to publicly disgrace someone or something like that. And it's a very good opportunity, if you have this, if you're in these situations, to have this opportunity to stomp on someone's ego. It will give you a very big ego boost. You will feel powerful like a Superman if you do it. If you really stomp on them and if you destroy someone's reputation. But don't do it. Never, ever. If you want to gain friends and influence people, you should never ever do it. You should always save the reputation. You should always shut the fuck up in your mouth, and you should give them opportunity to bounce back like nothing happened. And then you can take this card like a joker card or something like that, and for a later use. If you will end up someday in a similar situation, you will always have this card with this wild card with this person, so it's very likely that he or she will not destroy you and your reputation. So be good. You should always make other people feel great, tell them how great they are, encourage them, like, I know you can do it, you're the best, you can do it, I believe in you, and so on. It's basically food for the ego. So at the end, is this manipulation? Who knows? It depends what your motives are. If you want to just get something from someone, then it's manipulation. If it's just for you to be more appealing to others, to gain more friends and so on, that's, I won't say it's manipulation. It's using information to your advantage. The thing that you have learned now to your advantage. That's pretty much it. So the conclusion of all of this is, when we sum up all of what I have said today, is put other people first and their ego and attenuate your own ego. That's it. If you can do this, you can influence people and you can gain new friends. Guys, if you like this and you like these advices that I have learned, that I am starting and I already started to apply in my life, then I really suggest and recommend that you read this book. It's very easy to read. I believe you will like it. It has examples of all of these things and advice that I have shared with you. But if you lazy fuck don't want to read, then I will read it for you and give you like this in a small podcast episode. Next time I can give you advices that I learned from another book, like this. Maybe. But you should subscribe, and you should share, and you should like, and you should tell others about me. Bye, guys.